Maybe you already have a Spectre. Maybe she's leveled up, maybe she's not. Maybe you're wondering if you should put more time and effort into her, or you're wondering if you should roll for Blaze. Well, we're going to go deep, talk about all the differences between Blaze and Spectre, because these are two units that are very similar. They do very similar things. Both are guards, both have incredibly high damage, good sustainability, and you may be wondering what's so different about them and what's the same. Well, we're going to go deep into these two units. We're going to see what makes them tick, what's different, what's the same, who does it better. So let's jump right into it. All right, so first up we have Spectre. Spectre is a very good unit. I mean, there's nothing to take away from her. She is very strong. She's very effective at what she does. She was a main asset to high-risk contingency contact runs, and she's pretty much just good anywhere. She does what a guard does. She has a high block count. She deals tons of damage. She's able to sustain herself. So let's jump right into Spectre. And first, let's go straight into her stats just to look at raw numbers here. So if we look at Spectre, E2, we're going to look at max level. So our max level is 80. That is kind of important when looking forward at Blaze. So just from a base numbers perspective, max HP 2,630, attack power 725, defense 355, magic resistance 0, redeployment time 70, cost 23, block 3, attack time 1.2. So she's very good. She is just like stats on a stick, no joke. So when we look at all her buffs she gets, so now we're going to be talking about her talents and potential. We're going to be looking at base stats and then pumping them up all the way up to their max potential, because that's the only way to compare these two. We can look at them, you know, when they have lower potential, lower trust, but we got to look at it at a max versus max, min versus min. So if you do max potential your Spectre, you will be getting an additional 4% health on top of the already 20% she gets from her talents. So that's basically going to bring her up, increasing her health from 2,630 all the way up to 3,156, which we will see is more than Blaze. However, her attack is not as high as Blaze. So her 725 attack gets boosted by 80 just from her trust, as well as 27 from her potential, which means that all out, when you max up your Spectre, she's going to get up to 833 attack, which is insane damage. That's nothing to sneeze at. That is crazy. The only other really stat boosting / in this case decreasing there is when you fully potential her, her cost will go down from 23 to 21. Now, her skills. Her skill 1, you're never going to use it. Don't even look at this. It's not going to happen. Skill 2 is what Spectre is all about. So let's go ahead and max this. So what does she do? Well, for 15 seconds, she is going to become an absolute powerhouse. Her attack is going up by 160%, not to 160%. That's a big difference that happens in this game, is determining whether it's to or by. This is plus 160%. So you're over doubling her attack, which basically, once you add all the numbers up, it's taking her to 2,164 attack, which is nuts, for 15 seconds. And she is hitting all the units that are blocked in front of her. That doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be blocked by Spectre. If you have Spectre and say any other unit, but in this case, let's say Asaria, in a diagonal box from her, and 5 units are being blocked, she's going to hit all 5 of those units that are in that same hitbox. So you're hitting 5 units for 2,164 damage for 15 seconds. That is a boatload of damage. The only downside of this is she does get stunned for 10 seconds once the skill ends. Now, if you're able to time the skill, whether it be through the end of a wave, or there's just no real difficult enemies, or you have someone behind her in the lane to take the enemies while she's down, it's not that big of a downside. But it is a downside, so we will take that into account. But overall, it's a crazy skill. She can pump out massive amounts of damage, and that's all on top of her talents, which, if we take a look at those, she's recovering her HP, a lot of it. So in this case, looking at Spectre, she's completely maxed out, max potential, max trust. She's E2 level 90. In this case, she's recovering 2.5 HP per second. that's going to be 81 health per second. Now that's pretty good. It's not like a healer's on her or anything, but for healing herself, that's really good. So she can stick around for a while, and right when she's about to die, you pop her cooldown and she survives. She nails everything for massive amounts of damage. She's just a very good unit overall. The only downside I really see in her, like, there's really no skill 3, but if you have a dope skill 2 like her fractured body, you don't need a skill 3. Like, this is all you need her for. This is insane. Okay, so now let's jump over to Blaze. Now, if Spectre was stats on a stick, this is stats on a chainsaw. Okay, she is outrageous. So same thing, guard, she hits everybody in front of her, right? So let's take a look at her stats. So E2 level 90, base stats 28, 21 max HP, 765 attack power, 370 defense, 0 magic resistance, redeploy time 70 seconds, cost 24, block 3, attack time 1.2. Now, those are just numbers, but nobody's interested in the raw numbers because those aren't the final numbers. You always have potential, you always have trust. So, the big one, Blaze gets a ton of boosts from her potentials and trust bonuses. She gets a total of 88 extra attack from both those bonuses, bringing her total all the way up to 853, which is massive. Because first of all, that is 20 attack higher than Spectre, which doesn't sound that much, but we'll get there. She also gets an additional 45 defense from her trust bonus, and then all said and done, you can bring her down to 22 costs, but at the end of the day, 24, 22 doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, what does make a lot of difference is not her talents. We will get there. Her skill 2. You know what? Let's save skill 2. Skill 1, you're never going to use it. Not that good. Skill 3 is, it's okay. It's good, but it's still just her second best ability. So after activation, she's going to gradually gain up to plus 80% attack and defense, and attack all enemies one tile ahead. When the skill ends, deal 400% of current attack as physical damage to all nearby enemies and lose 25% HP. So she's just going to become a giant bomb, basically. She's going to do a ton of damage to a ton of units, and then she's going to lose and sacrifice a little bit of her HP. And her HP is already, like, it's almost through the roof. So you're really not losing like that much HP. That being said, that's not the skill that is getting everyone excited. The skill that is getting everyone excited is her skill 2. So when we max this out, the duration of this ability is infinite. Similar to Platinum, once it turns on, it doesn't turn off unless she comes off the field. If she dies, if you retreat her, otherwise this thing is staying in effect. So when you M3 this ability, attack plus 100%. It's doubling her attack, okay? So as long as she stays on the field, after 70 seconds, she's dealing massive amounts of damage. I mean, her damage output is going all the way up to 706. That's 706 all the time. Not like Spectre when you proc her ability. This is all the time. She also gets a defense buff. She also gets a range boost, which is good because now she can start hitting enemies through your other operators. She can start hitting through walls, which is a huge thing with her. It's just nuts. She just has extra range that she can start dealing out this massive amount of damage to her enemies. And finally, let's take a look at her talents real quick. So her first talent, emergency defibrillator. Wow, that is a word to say. Okay, so the first time that her HP falls below 25%, she's going to recover 50% HP, and then she's going to prevent herself from falling below 50% within 7 seconds, which can be boosted. Well, the 7 seconds is boosted up from 6. So this is kind of like Spectre's ability where it prevents her from dying. However, it's not one that you can use automatically. Spectre's you can use automatically. However, you're also getting the attack boost. This one is not automatic, which is actually very good. There is a downside though. If, let's say, minimum, your HP is at 26% and she gets one shot, this ability is not going to save her. She will die. So she does have to be underneath that 25% in order to save herself. It is very good that this is not a manual trigger. I have seen multiple people on their runs mess up with Spectre because she just died. They missed the proc and their Spectre died. Whereas with Blaze would have survived. Now, she also has harsh training, which When I read it for the first time, I was not thinking that it was that good. I didn't really see the benefit of it. However, if we look at this, when you max Potentialer, 12 seconds after deployment, gain a resist effect, reduce of stun, chill, freeze by 50%. Chill and freeze have been the most annoying mechanics that I have played in a long time. So chill and freeze, they're basically two new statuses that came along with chapter 6. So once your character is chilled, they're basically slowing down. So I believe it's attack speed minus 50%. So she is resistant to that. But once you are chilled, if you get chilled again, there's an opportunity to be frozen, which means that your character basically does nothing. They're just a block of ice. They can't move, they can't attack. You can retreat them, but that sucks. It does eventually wear off. However, Blaze is resistant to that, which is super good because there are a lot of levels where they have these, ice turrets that just like flash freeze you. And once your characters get frozen, they die really fast. It is really nice that Blaze makes it so that she's a little bit more resistant, that she's going to keep dishing out damage while the rest of your units are freezing, doing nothing. It's going to help a lot in chapter 6. I don't know how much this will help in future events, future chapters, but clearing chapter 6, clearing chapter 6 challenge mode, it's going to help a lot. Now that we've done all that, the other thing that I want to talk about before we start comparing these two are their hitboxes, because hitboxes are huge. Now, the hitbox for Blaze is only going to matter in this case if you're using her on skill 2, which you should be. Blaze has one extra blaze to her hitbox. Okay. Now, why is that good? Most of the time, at least what I've been doing with her, Blaze is the one on the front lines just nailing people down. She doesn't need a defender in front of her. However, if you do want to use a unit in front of her, let's say you have a Saria in front of her. Can you tell I like my Saria? Okay, so you put Saria in front of her. So if Saria is right in this box, she's going to be able to hit this box, which technically if Saria is here and Saria is attacking an enemy, since Saria has no range, the enemy should be in this box. However, the game thinks that it's in this box, even though Saria's range is only here. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. But basically what that means is that if Blaze is behind a defender or any other unit, she's going to be able to hit that unit in front of your other unit. Spectre, on the other hand, cannot do that. So she does need to be in the front line or at least on the side as units come into your defender. Either way, Blaze has that extra flexibility when you use her. So in the end, let's just compare the stats of these two units, and then we'll talk a little bit about their flexibility and their usability and how they compare with each other. The only two categories that Spectre has over Blaze is her HP, which if she's completely maxed out, she's going to have an extra 440 health. If she's not, it's only going to be 335, which is, it's still pretty decent. But the reason why Spectre needs all that extra health is because she is regenerating a percentage of her health. So the more health she has, the more she recovers. Blaze has that extra 20 attack. However, with her skill 2, she's going to have an extra 100%, which is going to bring her up to 1706, which is, I mean, almost as much as Spectre when she pops her ability, which is just nuts. So on attack alone, Blaze is knocking it out of the park. Defense, Blaze also has the edge here with an extra 60 defense. Magic resistance and redeploy time, they're the same. They're basically always going to be the same for most units. Cost, if their potentials are identical, Spectre is always going to have the edge by 1. But when you're talking about a 20 to 24 costing unit, what's 1 point? 1 cost point for the extra damage Blaze does. I don't think it's really a question as to whether it's worth it or not, and I guess you're probably seeing where I'm going with this. Block and attack speed are the exact same, so edge goes to neither of them. Which unit do I prefer? Well, it is no contest. I like them both. There is no argument saying that you can't use both. If you're putting them both next to each other and just kiting units into between the two of them, they're both going to be hitting all 6 units a shit ton. They're going to be pumping out so much damage. If you need to choose between one, it seems to me like a no-brainer. Just go with Blaze. If you're dishing out the money to get a Blaze. She's just like strictly better. She does so much more damage. No, she does not have the health regeneration of a Spectre, but her defense is just it's so good. She's so tanky. Like the fact that she's basically a defender, but with crazy attack stat. She can pump herself to crazy levels and she doesn't take that much damage. So you pair her with a healer or a healing defender like a Saria or a Neural, she's just gonna tear through enemy units like it's absolutely nothing. Like they're just gonna melt if they go in front of her. Get it? Melt because she's Blaze. Wow. So yeah, but between the two of them, I mean, if you have both of them, use them both. No, Blaze is the better unit. She's a 6-star. Also remember, I forgot to mention this, but Blaze does have an extra 10 levels on Spectre, so it's not going to make a big difference, but she does have that added flexibility of having a few more levels to pump her stats. But even if you don't have those 10 levels, her stats are already through the absolute roof. It's no contest. 1706 attack all the time, plus 35 defense, bring her up to 560. Like, she's just a tank that can pump out damage. She is insane. Please use her. She is so good. If you're pulling for her. If not, and you have a Spectre, continue using Spectre. This does not mean that Spectre is, a unit you can't use. Spectre is still fantastic. But if you're lucky enough to pull a Blaze, or you're a whale and you're just buying all the Blazes, have fun with her, because she is a blast to use. She's helped me so much in chapter 6. Not saying I couldn't have done it without her. However, it's way more fun with her. So guys, that is my comparison video between Blaze and Spectre. Hope you guys had a good time. I had a good time. I love using Blaze. I'm so glad she's in the game. I can't wait to use her some more. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Blaze? Is she like as good as you thought she was? Is she underperforming? If you say she's underperforming, you're lying. There's no way she's underperforming. She's like one of the best units in the game right now. So I don't even know why I'm asking you, because you're gonna say she's overperforming. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, just let me know in a comment below. Let me know what I can do differently. Let me know what you'd like to see. And if you want to see me using Blaze and potentially Spectre, I did just open up a Spectre. I'll be doing that on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/xjazz207. And I'm usually on around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to come and hang out, say hi, let me know if you saw the video. That would be so cool, guys. But for now, that is all I have. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!